Hi friends, I'm super excited to share this product with you. This is a dehumidifier. It's the model V3 and we just received this week. I'm excited because this is something that I'm going to be using for our primary bath where we don't have much ventilation. We don't have any windows that we can crack open after we've taken a shower, and it just kind of gets a little musty smelling in there. All too often I find myself trying to cover up that must smell with a lot of different fragrances or sprays, even shower sprays, and I just don't love the idea of using chemicals to beat that musty, muggy smell. Of course, everybody also knows if it's super humid, that humidity inside of a home or a structure can lead to potential damage to a structure. It can also lead to black mold, which everybody knows at this point can, of course, create some really terrifying, horrifying health problems that, are a nightmare to deal with. So definitely want to get on top of things, beat any problems that may potentially arise, and all over just help dry things out. So I'm going to be completely honest, where we live right now, we live in a desert, high desert, so it's pretty dry naturally. Because of El Nino this year, it has been a lot more humid. We're experiencing monsoon season right now, so it's definitely, you can feel that mugginess, the humidity in the air. Years ago, we used to live in Texas, and if you know the South, it's very, very humid there. Back east is as well. I remember visiting grandparents back east in New York State, summers being especially muggy, basements having that old, musty, yucky smell because of the humidity. So this is a contraption that, quite honestly, I see being useful in any home, wherever you might live. I do recall when we lived in Texas, though, this is just a short little brief story, in every closet, whether it was a cloak closet, a clothing closet, a linen closet, a bath towel closet, we had these little contraptions that we would hang, and they would capture all the humidity, the moisture in the air. And it just depended on how especially humid it was, but sometimes I would have to empty those contraptions every couple of days because they would be overflowing with liquid, with water that had been captured. So this is the obviously simpler option. Buy yourself one of these. It's again the dehumidifier. It's a model V3. This is small, it's compact, it's just under 31 pounds, so it's very easy. It's lightweight, easy to maneuver, it's on wheels, so you can just wheel it around, no problem. It has handles here on the side. It's really good and durable, no worries about breaking it. All the controls, it's touch controls here at the top. There is a child lock here, so if you have little ones and you're worried about them playing around with them, there's a child lock that you can put on here. There's no real risk of like little fingers getting in anywhere and getting hurt or cut, so just keep that in mind. It is important that wherever you put this, that it is somewhere where there's not like standing water, there's enough room around it. I believe it's a foot, you need to have a foot clearance above it, 4 inches clearance in front of it, and then on the sides and the back 8 inches. So wherever you decide to plug this in, just make sure that you give it enough space so that it can get the proper ventilation. It does plug in, so make sure that it's a grounded plug. So just make sure that wherever you plug it in, whatever outlet you use, that it's for a grounding plug. And that's just so that there's no risk of, again, shock or electrocution. Don't operate this if there is any kind of standing water. Turn this off immediately, unplug it. You do not want to wipe this down with any household cleaners or wet rags. Just use a dry rag. And I wanted to say, you'll see here in just a moment, or actually you'll hear just in a moment, but the actual device when it operates is really quiet. I believe that it's only 42 decibels, so that's fantastic. I would compare that to like just kind of a light white noise. So actually this might even help you sleep better because some people really like that white noise. Overall, the tank in this holds just under 2 gallons. If for whatever reason, if it's super humid where you live, or you know that you're not going to be able to get to it to empty it before it fills that 2 gallons, then it does come with 2 hoses, one being like kind of the extra hose, replacement hose, but you can attach this to the back, and then rather than it fill into the water tank, which I'll show you here in just a moment, this will run from the unit, and then you can have this run into a larger bucket. You can have this run in directly into a drain of any sort. So that's an option as well. I do want to note, once it is full, it will completely stop on its own. I believe it has like a 20-second beep where it will kind of like warn you that it's full and then it's turned off. So that's obviously just for safety features as well. The unit does not continue to run, and you won't have, that liquid, the moisture overflowing coming out of the unit. That would not be good. Overall, I'm very impressed with the ease. There's a QR code here that you can scan, and that will give you more directives. Again, definitely recommend that you read through the manual here. Absolutely love it. This is not to be used by kids of any sort, so just keep that in mind. And what I love about this too is I can put this in a closet. I can put it where if I'm trying to like dry clothes and I live somewhere where it's already humid, then you already know the pain of trying to dry clothes and how it takes additionally even longer. Maybe you're trying to dry shoes. Maybe you're trying to just ventilate. Maybe you don't care about the humidity so much, but you just kind of want to, freshen up your air. This device, this Model V3 dehumidifier, will do all of that for you. So there's different kind of functions here, and I'm just going to tip this over to show you. It does recommend it. I'm going to note this. It does recommend that before use, make sure that this is standing upright for 24 hours before you use it. And that's because there's a compressor inside. And that's just really important for the device to function properly. So actually, I'm not going to tilt it over. I'm going to bring this over here, but I'm going to show you. Let's see. I'm going to show you here the different buttons, what they do. Like I said, we have here the QR code. This is our power button. I'm going to power this on so you can see. This will lift up right here. Okay, this is only up like so when it's on. Let's go back over here. So I have child lock. With this on, I cannot alter or adjust any of the settings. I'll need to unlock the child setting for that. This is the ventilation that I was mentioning. As you can see, it shows here on the little control panel, those little squiggly lines. That indicates that it's not dehumidifying, but it is ventilating the air. So again, if you don't want to worry or don't have any concern about humidity, you can just run this as a humidifier. It has a sleep function, a timer function. I can set that timer for this to continuously run for anywhere between 1 hour to 24 hours. When this is set in normal mode, like you see here with the little 1 droplet, I can alternate. I can increase the levels like you see here or decrease them. Only when this is functioning on normal level or ventilation is when I can increase or adjust the levels. There is the dry mode, so if I am trying to dry shoes or if I'm trying to dry clothing, I can push that. There's a fan speed, and then this is probably one that you should be familiar with. There's the different modes that are already programmed. Again, this is your normal mode. This is kind of a higher mode. If you are running this automatically, as it most of the time will, it senses the humidity in the air. So just know that. And in the manual, it will show you what the different modes are. So it will tune itself to the different modes. But if there's especially extra humidity, you'll see this in the air, and if it's just like a normal amount under a certain percentage, it will look like that. Overall, like I said, super simple to function, super easy to use, pretty self-explanatory, and it's definitely going to help with capturing that extra moisture and then obviously making sure that you are not putting yourself at a potential health risk with any kind of like mold or anything growing in your home. Last thing I wanted to show you, it's recommended that you turn it off and then unplug it. So let's go ahead and unplug it. But this is the back side. Make sure that you're familiar with this. If I wanted to, and this is where I recommend you do this once a week, this is the filter. So it looks like this. It's got the little screen, mesh screen on it. You can take a dry, like microfiber cloth, clean this out. If needs be, I can wash this with mild soap and a dish rag, then let it dry. If you feel like every couple of weeks, if you start to see dust gathering in here, this is the back filter. You can, once this is, obviously make sure this is turned off and unplugged, but you can take a vacuum to this and also vacuum this out. It's recommended so that this continues to function as it's supposed to. And then one last thing, this is where the water container is held. There's two handles on the little side, and so you'll just reach for those. It pulls out just like so. This is what it looks like on the top. There's a handle right here. Again, this holds just under 2 gallons of liquid. Once it is full, again, this thing will shut off. It will have that long 20-second beep and shut off completely. Make sure that you turn it off. Make sure you, well, make sure it's definitely off, but make sure you unplug it. And then you'll pour the liquid out. You'll hold it like so, and then you can hold it like this and pour the liquid out from here. If you're not gonna be using this, it's really important, again, that you clean this thing thoroughly, take care of the filter, clean this out, rinse this with really good water. If for whatever reason, if you feel like you need to wash it out, use mild soap, and then just make sure that it's dried well before you store it. This stores really, really well. And then if for whatever reason, like I said, if you feel like you're gonna be gone, or you know that it's a super muggy day and you won't have the time to continuously go empty this, you can fix the hose. You get one of 2 hoses that come with it. There's this little place right here, see, right here, where this little half moon is. You're gonna go ahead and secure this on there. Make sure it's good and tight on there. And then see here that there's another little half moon. You'll run this right there, fix it on there, and then just go ahead and put this back in place. Again, if you're going to use the hose function, make sure that this is draining into a much larger bucket, or that it is draining directly into a drain. Cannot recommend this enough. Again, this is fabulous. This is, like I said, this is something, I presently live in a dry climate, so you would think that there's really no need for it. But if you've got a shower, if you've got something, a room that's enclosed, if you're like us right now, where again, it's typically very dry during summertime, but because of El Nino, it's been especially very humid. This will come in super handy. I can't recommend it enough. Again, this is the Model V3 dehumidifier. Check it out.